Hi folks, I decided I better make a physical appearance here. I am alive. More or less. Well, my husband hurt his foot a few days ago, about 3 days ago. He thought he broke it. Well, it's kind of his own fault. I had to say that. But yeah, there was a root, the remnants of a root, and it was sticking straight up out of the ground. And it had a root attached to it, and it was just the end of a root that we cut a long time ago. And I said to my husband a long time ago, years ago, you need to cut that with a chainsaw, because that thing's like petrified wood. It's so hard. I don't know if I can cut through it with a shovel. Well, he didn't, and he's paying for it. So I took a shovel, and the best shovel I have, and I went out there and I chopped at it and I chopped at it and chopped it. I finally removed the thing, plus 2 other ones. So hopefully none of us will step on that, at least anymore. And now he's suffering, and now guess who has to do everything? So now it's the housework, the barn work, the garden work, although there's not much of that left because it's the end of the season. Chicken management, oh, you name it. But anyway, it is what it is, and a lot of stuff, a lot more stuff is not going to get done. We were in the middle of projects. We started this gate frame sat on my deck for months, and we finally got it up there, and now all the thing we have to do is put on the pickets, you know, the 6-foot pickets to make the gate. And then I still have to take down all that other picket fencing, and we're going to do some other stuff there. But we got stopped again by this. He's rolling around there in a wheelchair right now. There's a question as to whether it's actually broken or and it's in the foot, not the ankle itself. The foot's very swollen. But anyway, there's a lot of projects that, let's just say, they were going to get started again, and I think they got pushed back even more. But that's the way it goes around here. If you saw my my community post and the end of the last video I did with the Omega Rocks, the boys showing their personalities, if you watched that all the way to the end, you saw my new logo for the channel, part of my new logo for the channel, and a link to the book that I've been writing for 13 years since I broke my ankle back in 2012. And I'd put it down, I'd leave it alone for years. I'd go pick it back up, and people would encourage me to finish it. Thank you, Steve Smith, because you're one of the main reasons I went ahead and decided to finish it. And I tell you what, I went ahead and I tweaked it as much as I could. I had to learn a lot of stuff about formatting and all. Not for this part, but for the next part, I'm going to have to learn. And it's quite a learning curve. Publishing as an ebook made perfect sense to begin with, because you don't have to have quite as much formatting stuff, and there are less rules for the ebooks. And its length was such that I thought I could make an ebook work, and I could make a print book work if the ebook, you know, if I could get through that process, which I did. And so my book is published. The original title of the book was Roots, Rocks, and Rabbits in the Woodpile, because that's what I saw right after we moved here. The owner had wood piled under the deck on the back deck, underneath it, and I was leaning over the deck, and all of a sudden out of the woodpile comes a little rabbit hopping along, and I said, what else is living in that woodpile? Probably not a snake, since the rabbit wouldn't have been in there. But you know, I thought roots and rocks have been the bane of my existence around here, and then we got rabbits in the woodpile. But that was the original title, and the working title, let's put it that way. And it wasn't until a long time later, obviously, that I changed my channel name here, which used to be Cynthia Fuller. Fuller was the name I was born with, not my maiden name and not my married name. Anyway, I decided maybe I need to call it Roots, Rocks, and Feathers to kind of go with my channel, because that's all you have right here. You got roots, you got rocks, and they They create their own challenges in everything we do around here, and of course feathers everywhere. For a long time there were guinea feathers I was still finding after the guineas were rehomed, but I kind of missed that. I love those feathers. But yeah, Roots, Rocks, and Feathers is the perfect description of this place. So I thought, okay, well, that's what the title of the book's going to be. And I decided to go ahead and it has a connection with this channel then, in a way. So, I know I've made at least one sale. Somebody, if one of you bought that book, thank you so much. That was great. There's a delay in getting it on Amazon. So if you buy all your books on Amazon, it's on like 6 other platforms, including Barnes and Noble. But if you buy your books on Amazon, they're taking their good sweet time about that. So we'll see what happens. You have to verify a whole bunch of stuff and write a letter about the copywriting that you're entitled to everything, and it goes through their process. And I heard that sometimes it's taking a week or two to get that done. So that's taken a while. It'll be there eventually. And I'm running an introductory price on that for 2 weeks, which I may change to the main price. I'm not even sure. Pricing was not something I thought much about when I was writing this book or anything else. I didn't, So right now I'm working. I've kind of finished the print copy, the print formatting of the book. I've tweaked it. It's just almost like a revised edition of the ebook, but it's going to be in print. And I have ordered proof copies before it's published, so I can see. I don't know how long they take to get your proof copies to you. So I can look at it and I can make corrections before it's published. Because when you read something on a screen, you read it written on a written page, it's really a lot different. You see things you didn't see on your computer monitor. Even though I've gone through this book probably 100 times, and I think you'll find the print book is going to be a little bit better in some ways. It's almost the same, but there's a lot of tweaking I did, and I think it's going to be better. I found out when I wrote the ebook and I went to edit it, which was very stressful, that I tend to write a lot of long, more complex sentences that I needed to break up. So there may be some of that left in the ebook, but a lot of that is taken care of in the print book. Anyway, enough of the commercial. I got a cough, hang on. Okay, the Homestead. My husband got a riding mower. He finally got a used riding mower. It's not perfect, but I wasn't going to buy a brand new mower. I already bought a brand new mower, but that was like 10 years ago. And the price of the mower has gone up at least $1,000, and I don't want that one again anyway. So I couldn't find myself, I just couldn't see myself paying over $2,000 for a new riding mower. I know they go a lot higher than that. I get it. So my husband was looking for a used one. He found a used one, bought it, got delivered it. It's nicer than to deliver it. And guys doing something with equipment next door. If you hear something, I don't know what they're doing. They're doing a lot of stuff lately. But anyway, he got the riding mower. He got to use it one time before he hurt his foot. So there you go. It's crazy and wild out there. So I've got to do some kind of yard cutting. We're thinking about actually getting somebody, if I can find somebody to work, and who will not charge me ridiculous amounts of money like they keep trying to do, to come and do some, not really landscaping, but do the trimming and everything inside the perimeter. Not in the pasture, just in the pasture, but inside the perimeter. Weed whacking and all kinds of stuff, and leaf removal, and just everything I can think of. I still need some help finishing taking down the fence down there. There's always something, and now that it's all me, I'm running crazy. I'm cooking all the meals. My husband did go load the dishwasher yesterday. He leaned on the counter and loaded the dishwasher for me. So, I think he feels bad, unnecessarily bad, that he can't do as much as he normally does, which isn't as much as he used to do. Because here I am, I'm trying to do all the necessary stuff, and yet I'm trying to do the publishing stuff, which is, like I said, learning curve, big learning curve. I want to try to learn I'm going to try to learn a program that is really made for book publishing, made for creating books. Scrivener, I'm going to try to learn Scrivener. I have a copy of it. And I actually have an idea. I had an idea forming in my head for a fiction book. And I'm seeing it. I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on here. I don't know what genre to call it. I don't know. But it's forming, and I may actually start trying to write that. But I want a program where I can organize everything better than I did before, because when I started out, I think I was using, do you remember WordPerfect? Do you remember that program? That's what I started writing on 13 years ago, was WordPerfect. Of course, WordPerfect doesn't exist anymore. It wasn't perfect, was it? And so I went to Word, and I don't have a copy of Word anymore. I don't know where it went. I tend to not want to spend money for these programs. And I find, it just, when it gets my grain to spend money for this editing program that I use. But it was well worth it, I think. And I have to pay for it every year. It's the basic paid version. And it works fine for my purposes. A lot of features I can't use on it because I don't pay the extra stuff. But it always going to get my grain to pay for these programs when you can find something free. But sometimes the free ones are not that great. So I'm going to try to learn Scrivener, maybe. Cross your fingers. I mean, never thought of myself as really dumb, but I tell you what, I'm very challenged when it comes to that kind of stuff. So pray for me there. I think that would be a good place to go to write this novel. And so anyway, I don't know. I don't know why, but what I'm thinking is, if something happens to my husband, I always say you've got to think about what happens if you're left alone. You do have to think about that. You do. If it happens to you and you haven't thought anything about it, you're at a disadvantage. And now you're in your emotional upset, the grief stage, and you're not going to be thinking clearly. I think it's a good thing to think about this stuff beforehand. Maudlin as it may sound, I think it's a good idea. And I thought, if I could actually, I know I'm going to have some hobbies if that happens, because I won't be able to afford to do them. Like quilting, I won't be able to afford the fabric, which is very expensive, and I won't be able to, even though I bargain shop, I do. I do recommend Marshall Dry Goods. I think it's in Arkansas. They have really excellent prices. Better than quilt shops. Never shop at a quilt shop, in my opinion. I think that's just ridiculous. The amount of money you're paying for stuff there. Same fabrics, very expensive. Well, you can get them at Marshall for almost half the price. I won't be able to afford the hobby, like quilting. It requires equipment, electronic equipment. If you're not doing it all by hand, which I can't do. I have arthritis in my index finger here, and in one other finger, I think, on my right hand. And it's going to be, I don't know how well I can hand quilt it. I can't hand quilt anything large. So I thought, what am I going to do if I have to give up quilting? And I may not even have, I really don't want to crochet that much. I mean, I've got a lot of crocheted Afghans in my closet that they're going to run me out of house and home if I keep on doing that. I have a lot of yarn that I'm not going to have a place to store probably. So, and I may have to leave here. I don't know. But I thought, what am I going to do with myself? I mean, I have a channel, but is anybody going to want to listen to me if I'm not doing all this other stuff? And I thought, if I can write, and I've written I used to write stories when I was, late elementary school, and then what they call high school. Where I was from, there was no middle school. There was 1 to 8 is elementary. 1 to 7 is elementary, and 8 to 12 is high school. There was no middle school. But I was, late elementary into middle school age when I was writing some stories back then. Never did anything with them, of course. I was a kid. But, and my son, of course, I guess he got the bug too, because he's published 2 books. I actually learned enough watching these writers' channels on YouTube that I told my son, I said, have you thought about making new covers for your books? It might inject some life into your sales. Maybe it's time for you to put new covers on. He goes, I've been thinking about that. So here I am giving him advice, even though he's actually been my advisor all along on submissions and things like that. And so thank you, Chris. Anyway, so I thought this could be something I can do. Maybe. Whether anybody wants to read it or not, I can at least make ebooks or something. Even though they say that most people who are actually avid readers still, like me, They prefer physical books. I know I do. I have a Kindle, which I don't have a subscription to anymore because it's Amazon, and I haven't been an Amazon member for ages. I guess I might technically be now, since, I mean, it still had my name and everything. I didn't ever check in because I deleted my account, but they know me because now they've had a book submission in my name from the platform that I'm using to publish. Actually, it's an aggregator. It's draft to digital, and I decided to use that one. It makes the process easier, and it distributes to Amazon and Barnes & Noble and several other things like Smashwords and other things I've never even heard of, honestly. They distribute to a lot of aggregators who then sell my books, and my one book so far. I'm doing the print through them too. And you know, Amazon has a thing where it's called Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and a lot of people use that because it does make the process easy in a lot of ways, but you can only they only put the books on Amazon. Now, that's like the best one to put it on, honestly, because Amazon is the place to go for a lot of books. But you know, I don't know. I just decided to go the draft to digital route this time, and hope it's going to be okay. One real reason I wanted to publish instead of just write this thing and leave it on my computer is that, and on a thumb drive in case something happened to my computer, is because I didn't want. I had this thought about my sons after I pass away. They go to my computer and they look and they go, you know, Mom was writing a book? Did you know Mom was writing a book? Did she say to you about that? Oh, here it is right here. I thought I would rather them say, Mom wrote a book and I have a copy of it right here, instead of, gosh, why didn't you do anything with this? So I decided I wanted to complete a task, and boy, it took a long time, but I didn't think I was ever going to really do anything with it, but I did. And so I can say at least I've published an ebook, even though it needs some tweaking and all that kind of stuff. And you know, you'll find an extraneous comma here and there, or if something doesn't make sense, let me know. But I worked on it, and I think the more you do, the more you learn. And I think later books will be better than the first one when there's such a learning curve to the publishing and how to format it and all the stuff that goes with it. It's not as simple as it seems, although the aggregator I chose makes a lot of things simple. Anyway, I don't want to ramble anymore. I just want to make a physical appearance here. Pray that my husband's foot gets better quick. He did kind of walk around a couple of days later. He's like, oh, it doesn't feel as bad. And I thought, okay, but I said, you don't want to rush it now because, you don't know if it's actually broken. Well, he's paying for that now too, as it starts to swell again a little bit more. But my husband, he was sitting at his computer and I'm over there eating my breakfast, and he goes, is there anything you need? I said, more energy. I need more energy. I need an infusion of energy. So if you got something, let me have it. Oh, just kidding. So yeah, I just need to keep going and not hurt myself, because if I get hurt, ooh, this is bad. That would be bad. We're gonna miss Cora. We really are. Everybody's settled into where they are right now. Nathaniel, Duncan, and Angus, along with your girls, Ethel, Hannah, Hazel, and Tally, or Tallulah, they're all free ranging right now. So the girls have protection, and I hope the boys do what they're supposed to do. And I'm going to have to go check on that, but I've got some stuff to do. I still have to get my quilt binding on. I finally finished the quilting on that quilt. I need to put the binding on, but I'm still so involved in the publishing and getting this other book ready, and waiting for them to say, yes, we're going to send, here, you can purchase these proof copies, I guess you call them, here, and then, I can get that, read it, see where I need to make corrections, if any, and then I can click go, and they'll publish it for me, the print book. So, if you're the one that bought the book, thanks. I don't know if there's one, or they don't report every time somebody buys the book, but I did find out that someone had bought a copy. Like, wow, really? It's not even on Amazon yet. Well, cool. Anyhow, take care of everybody. I miss you guys. I really, some of you especially, I really miss you guys. I just haven't been able to. I've got to go to the specialist. I got to get to the specialist, the ENT guy for this, whatever's going on with my throat. I've got to get that taken care of. It's wearing me out. I often had wake-ups at 1:30 or 3 o'clock and had to get out of it because I just couldn't go back to sleep, coughing or whatever. And I need my sleep, especially now because, you know, we got one part of the team is broken down, so we really, really, really need to, I need to keep my energy up. And it's hard because it's gotten so hot. We're having another heat wave before it cools down, and I hope I can survive it because I can't stand the heat. It makes me cough worse, it gives me headaches. So anyway, well, now that he's really cutting his yard, I better get going. So y'all take care, and comment down below. Tell me how you're doing, okay? God bless.